Hello, I'm Beth Wagner, physical therapist. In this video, I'm going to show you my favorite exercises for strengthening to treat osteoporosis and osteopenia. Our body is in a constant process of reabsorbing bone and replacing it with new bone. With osteoporosis, the body absorbs more bone than it replaces, resulting in a loss of bone mass, which causes weak or brittle bones and increases the risk of bone injury and fractures. Now, before starting these exercises, be sure to follow any guidelines your doctor may have given you, with recommendations for activity. We have more power than we think to change our bodies and improve our health. To improve bone density and bone mass in the presence of osteopenia and osteoporosis, the primary thing that we can do physically with activity is a graded progressive weight-bearing program. Our bodies respond to this increase in weight bearing and build more bone. With these exercises, we'll be increasing the weight bearing by increasing the amount of external resistance we use or increasing the force going into the ground with movements of the feet. I recommend doing these exercises 3 to 4 days a week. Essentially, every other day is perfect. It provides good stimulation for bone growth and allows your body 1 day of rest in between sessions. The first exercise is a squat. I'll show you 2 variations of this. The first variation is a sumo squat. Start these with just using your body weight. As you build up strength and stamina, then go ahead and gradually add additional weight. You could start with a light dumbbell, 1, 2, or 3 pounds, or a water bottle, whatever's handy in your house. I'll show you today using a water bottle. First, stand with your feet a little more than hips distance apart, with your toes slightly turned out to the side. Start with tall posture, with your chest lifted, shoulder blades relaxed down and back, a little bit of a chin tuck. Okay, from here, keep your hands together in the middle of your body. You can lace your fingers or bring your hands, palms together, whatever's most comfortable for you. Now we're going to squat down, bringing the knees over the toes and extending back through the hips. All right, and bringing the hands straight toward the floor underneath you. So I'll initiate the squat by sticking my hips out behind me and letting my knees open right over my toes. All right, and then stand back up, straightening your legs and bringing your hips all the way forward. And again, extend the hips, let the knees go out over your toes, and reach toward the floor. Pause, and come back up. Continue with slow, smooth motion, with control on the way down and on the way up. Perform 15 repetitions, or as many as you feel comfortable to start with. Now let's add additional resistance with a water bottle. Hold the water bottle with both hands and keep it centered over the middle of your body. Extend through the hips and let your knees bend out over your toes. Lower the water bottle toward the floor, keep your chest lifted, and stand back up. And squat down, hips back, water bottle toward the floor, pause, and stand back up, bring your hips forward. And repeat. Squat down, weight over your heels, pause, and then stand back up. I also recommend patterning your breathing with the movement. Exhale on the way down. Since your trunk is compressing as you go down into that squat, it's important to exhale, blow out the air during the squat, and then inhale when you stand back up. We don't want to be inhaling and filling the trunk with air while it is being compressed. That can put additional pressure on the organs and the spine. So be sure to exhale as you lower into the squat. So we'll inhale first to start. And then exhale, extend through the hips, bend the knees over the toes, bring the water bottle toward the floor, pause. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower into the squat with control. Inhale, come back up. And continue with this pattern, exhaling as you lower, inhaling as you come up. Perform 15 repetitions. Start with what you can do today and gradually add more repetitions session by session as your strength and stamina improve. Also, once 15 repetitions becomes a bit easier, add more resistance with a heavier water bottle or a heavier dumbbell. Okay, now we'll do a squat to chair exercise. The purpose of having the chair behind me is to give a target for my hips, to make sure that the hips are going back and that you're not squatting forward by bending the knees too far forward. Your weight should be over your heels, more than the middle or front of your foot. Okay, start with your feet about hips distance apart, tall posture, hands on your hips. As you squat down, reach for the chair behind you, barely touch the chair, and then come back up. So I'll reach behind me with my hips, barely touch, and come back up. Now with this type of squat, move slowly on the way down, and then try to move a little faster on the way up. Use a little more power to stand back up. So we'll slowly squat down with control, touch, and then stand back up quickly. When you stand, bring your hips forward again. Don't finish the squat hunched over like this. Finish with tall posture. And again, exhale, squat down, lightly touch, inhale, come back up. Exhale, slowly lower, inhale, come back up. Perform 15 repetitions, or as many as you can to start with. The next exercise is a lunge progression with a lunge forward, angled, and to the side. We'll start this with just body weight, and then I'll add a water bottle later for additional weight-bearing, additional resistance. Start with your feet about hips distance apart, and I'll start with my left leg lunging. I'm going to lunge forward onto the left leg, bringing the knee out over the top of the toes, but not in front of the toes. Keep your knee behind the level of the toes. And then come back to the center. Now I'll lunge out at an angle. Knee over the toes, but not in front, and come back. And now I'll go out to the side, turning the knee and the foot so that the knee and the foot are pointed out to the side. And come back. Now I'll repeat on the right. Lunge forward, knee over toe, and come back. Angle 45 degrees, and come back. And now to the side. Toes and knees pointed to the side, and come back. As that feels comfortable for you, for your balance and your conditioning, gradually add a little bit of depth to the lunge, stepping farther, and add speed. So I may start moving a little bit quicker, into the lunge and back out. Step into the lunge and back out. Out to the side, step, and come back. Now the other side. Right foot forward and come back. At the angle, push and come back, and now to the side. Push and come back. Now when you're ready to add some resistance, you can use a couple water bottles or light dumbbells and just keep them by your side. So lunge forward with the left leg and come back. Lunge at the angle and come back. Out to the side and come back. And again on the right. Keep your knee over your toes, but not letting your knee go past your toes. And to the side and back. Shoot for 10 repetitions, 1 repetition being the forward, angle, and side. The next exercise is single leg balance with use of water bottles or dumbbells for a bicep curl. And I'll show you a couple variations of this exercise so that you can find the way that works for you based on your balance today. So let's start without any resistance. If you need to stand by a countertop for support, the first few times you do this, that's just fine. Shift your weight onto one leg, engage your abs and your glutes, and lift the other leg, just barely off the floor, so your toes could still touch the floor if you needed to for balance. Our goal for single leg balance is 30 seconds. If you need to touch the countertop the whole time, that's great, or tap the countertop for a little balance now and then, that's just fine too. And then after 30 seconds, switch legs. Shift the weight and lift the leg with your abs and your glutes engaged. And tap or touch the countertop as you need to for 30 seconds. Okay, and back down. Now, if that feels comfortable for you and you're ready to add additional weight, meaning you can stand solidly, confidently on one leg for 30 seconds, now we can add additional weight. So holding your water bottles or your dumbbells, one in each hand, shift your weight onto one leg and lift the other leg. Once you're balanced, then we'll do a bicep curl with the weights and back down. And again, let's do 10 bicep curls. Now you can either curl your palm toward the shoulder or curl your thumb up toward your shoulder. Either way, I'm not picky about how you do the bicep curl. The point is to be getting the weight-bearing exercise, the muscle strengthening. After 10 repetitions, switch legs. Shift the weight to the other leg and lift the leg. Engage your abs and glutes. Once you're balanced, begin the bicep curls. Slow and smooth motion with control as you curl and as you lower the weight back to your side. After 10 repetitions, or as many as you feel comfortable starting with, then relax your foot and just step that out a little bit. Next up is a push-up. Start this with a wall push-up and progress to a countertop push-up. I'm going to show you here on the table to mimic a countertop. If you start with the wall, you just be standing with your hands against the wall, with your feet about a foot or two away, and gently lower yourself into a push-up position against the wall and come back out. As you're ready, then progress to a countertop and continue progressing to a lower and lower height as your strength and your conditioning improves. So using a countertop of this height, I'll step back and have my hands about shoulder distance apart, and then I'll lower down into the push-up and come back up. If that's too difficult, you can start with just a small push-up. Also try to keep your elbows along your side, but if that's difficult and they move out farther to the side, that's just fine too. Continue with slow, smooth movement, lowering into the push-up and pressing back out. Now, if lowering into the push-up is too difficult, you can also try this as a plank march. Starting in this plank position, shift your weight, lift one hand slightly, lower, shift your weight, lift the other hand, and lower. Continue shifting weight and lifting and lowering. Just lift your hand a few inches off the surface. Continue marching side to side for 20 repetitions or as many as you feel comfortable to start with. Add more repetition as you practice these exercises session by session. For the step-up exercise, I'll be using this step stool. If you have stairs in your house, that will work out great. I recommend using the handrail for the first few times you do the exercises. Standing in front of the step, about 6 inches away from the edge of the step, your feet about hips distance apart. Then we'll simply step up onto the step and then back. So I'll start with my left leg, step up, bring the right leg, and then step back with the right leg. So I'm stepping forward with the left, back with the right, and continue on that same, leading with the same leg. Up with the left and back with the right. This works the left leg on the way up and on the way down. Continue at a slow, smooth pace. If you need to use the handrail, that's just fine. Have one hand on the handrail on the way up and down. Do 20 repetitions or as many as you can to start with on the one leg and then switch. Now step up with the right leg and back with the left. Up with the right and back with the left. Slow, smooth, steady motion. Up with the right and back with the left. And after 20 repetitions, rest. A progression of the step up is a lateral step up or side step up. Stand to the side of the step facing the handrail, about 6 to 8 inches away from the edge. Now step up with the leg that is closest to the step. So I'll step up with the right, make sure you leave plenty of room on the step for the other leg, and then step up with the left. Down with the left and back with the right. Step up with the right and then with the left, and now step down leading with the left, following with the right. Continue 20 repetitions on this side, or as many as you feel comfortable starting with. And then switch sides. So if you're doing this with a stair at home, you would simply turn around and lead with the left leg. If you're doing this with a step stool like this, then simply move your body or move the step stool around. Now start with the left or follow with the right. Up with the left and leading down with the right. Leading up with the left, down with the right. Continue at a slow, smooth, steady pace. Perform 20 repetitions or as many as you feel comfortable to start with. With the last two exercises, be sure to check with your doctor before you try these. They involve getting up off the ground a little bit, and depending on your overall condition and the severity of your osteoporosis, this may or may not be a great exercise for you. So double check with your doctor before starting this. Next, we'll do a mini jog in place. Start with your feet about hips distance apart, a little bend in the knee, just so you have a comfortable amount of bounce. Tall posture with your chest lifted, shoulder blades relaxed down and back, and a little bit of a chin tuck. Your arms comfortably by your side. Now we'll just do a little jog in place. So shift your weight side to side and lift the foot up in the air. Keep your feet about hips distance apart. Just shift your weight side to side. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can also do this with just a step, side to side. Okay, let's go back to the mini jog. So we're just going to bounce side to side, push up off the ground, and go side to side. If you're concerned about your balance, you can also start this exercise with your fingertips along a countertop or standing next to the countertop. So you have one hand along the countertop for a little balance. As you feel more and more comfortable, then step away from that countertop. Perform 30 steps side to side. Start with what you can do. You might feel more comfortable to start with just 10 repetitions side to side. Build up as you can. When 30 repetitions becomes comfortable for you, go ahead and add more repetitions, add a little more speed, or add a little more height to the jog. Pay attention to how your feet feel with this motion. Be sure that you're wearing supportive footwear, and if your feet are tender, do this exercise on a softer surface, such as carpet instead of tile or hardwood floors. The last one is a mini jump. Again, ask your doctor about this exercise before you start it. Stand with one foot in front of the other, feet about hips distance apart. Now shift your weight forward onto the front leg, and then hop back onto the back leg, and then jump onto the front leg. So continue jumping forward and backward. So you're pushing up off the ground and landing on the other foot. Good. Start with where you feel comfortable. For some of you, it might be a very small step, and it might just be rocking back and forth. That's just great. As you build up strength, comfort in your feet and your entire body, and confidence, then go ahead and increase your step length, increase how much you're pushing off, and increase the speed. Shoot for 30 repetitions, front to back. Start with what you can do, gradually build up. Once you're finished on that side, switch legs. Step the other foot forward. Make sure to keep your feet about hips distance apart. You don't want to do this like on a tightrope and lose your balance side to side. Your feet should be nice and wide. Step forward, back. Hop forward, back. Continue hopping, jumping, forward, and back. And shoot for 30 repetitions. And when you're finished, rest. All right, that wraps up this video on strengthening weight-bearing exercises for osteoporosis and osteopenia. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Leave any questions or comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able. I hope these exercises help you get back to doing the things you love to do every single day. Have a fantastic day.